is Antoine, I'm a photographer based in Seoul, mostly doing portraits but also street photography, and today we will see how my workflow speed increased so much since Retouch For Me contacted me. When you want to edit your portrait, most of the time the hard part will be the color matching, if you get a good balance that unify everything for a good mood, and second, of course, the skin editing, which can be very hard to make if you want to keep it very natural and professional, and there is some plugin that might help you with this task. Alright, let's jump into it. I think we will start first with the biggest example. I already edited the lighting and a little bit of the color on this picture, but for the colors, you will see how we can manage to get instantly unlimited presets. So let's start with this one. She had a good makeup, so it looks like we don't have much things to do, but you will see that with the plugins, we can definitely improve the picture. So let's jump into Photoshop. So when you are here, of course, one of the tips that I can give you is always to be organized on your Photoshop files and the different layers you have. This is how you will be able to get back in your settings and remove some mistakes that you would have done on the way. So here I have the background, which is the main picture, and the first thing that I do is Command G, which will give me another layer. So this layer will help me to first get rid of the different temporary imperfection that we can get on the skin. This task can be very easy to do, but here what offers us Retouch For Me is how fast we can do it. So let's go to Filter, then when you install it you have the Retouch For Me plugins that are available over here, and we will start with the healing process. It opens a window just on top of your Photoshop and saves everything back to your Photoshop as a new layer. The healing is already applied. As you can see, it's extremely quick. And if we zoom a little bit more on the face and I press the spacebar, I can see everything that has been removed. Of course, it's a computer, it's not always perfect, so you have to be very careful to only remove, at least for me, which I call temporary imperfection. Everything which belongs to the face of the model, for me, has to remain on the skin. If I press the brush here, I can modify some of the spots, but most of all, I can see where it has been applied. So you can see it's not always focusing on the face. There is small imperfection that will be detected on the whole picture that will be removed. Most of the time it does a perfect job. Always be careful just to be sure it's not removing things that you wouldn't want to be removed. So it's a good way to check this. Then it's done. You can check the sensitivity if you want the layer to be shown more or less. If it's harder for the software to find the face, you can choose if it's a close-up portrait, half-length portrait, or a full body portrait. But from my experience, the auto option works 90% of the time. When it's done, I recommend you to do make a mask that will create a mask with the layer that you created, and then you can modify the mask as much as you want. And if you remove the mask, you can check now that everything has been removed. If I was doing this portrait for my client right now, I would make appear some of the marks on the face which are natural. But some of it also remains here, so it's a good way to remove it with the remove tool. Just over here, let's make this a little bit bigger and select some area that needs to be replaced. And here we go, that's already perfect. Maybe over here for the earrings hole, there's some marks over here, but for the marks, most of the time you just keep it like this. You can use the remove tool, but I would recommend you sometime to use the healing brush tool, which is a little bit more natural and sometimes a little bit cleaner. When this is done, it's always good to rename it, just to be sure you know what you are doing on your layers. And when it's done, just create another layer that gather every other layer by using Command Option Shift E. And you go to Filter, and this one is very useful. You will see why. Dodge and burn. In this video there is a discount that you can get if you want to buy those plugins, so make sure to watch it until the end. I will tell you a little bit more about it later once you watch everything, just to be sure you like it and you just don't buy something random. This is the one that takes a little bit more time to be applied on the pictures, but overall you will see it's extremely much faster than doing the dodge and burn by yourself. If you did it before, you will see that this plugin will already make you think about buying it. And here we go, let's zoom here, and if I press space, you can see that everything has been smoothed perfectly. It's just balancing the shadows and the highlight on the face, and just by doing this, it smoothed the whole skin without touching of the texture of the skin. And this is very important, because most of the time when you start smoothing the skin, the big problem is that you are going to lose skin texture. And over here, if I zoom even more, you can see that it's exactly perfect. So it's like matching exactly where you want the dodge and burn to be applied. So if I do this once again, you can see all the different areas, even outside of the picture. So you have to be careful that sometimes it's not over processing outside of the face, but that's very perfect. So let's go back over here, creating a soft light layer and we apply it. So it gives you this gray layer that of course we don't want. So you just go to the different fusion mode and choose soft light as the name of the layer that you choose. And if I hide it, you can see that it's already very good. Let's create another layer, filter, retouch for me, and then portrait volumes. And this one, if you use it with the dodge and burn, it's another world. These two tasks takes me so much time. This is why I didn't really complain at all when they reached out for making this video, because I was like, yeah, this is for me the future of editing portrait. It doesn't destroy the skin. It's like keeping the same thing, but just using the smart computer calculating to get exactly what you want. And here, you might not notice it at first, but if I press space, you can see that the face already gained so much depth. And that's exactly what you want to keep in your portrait, to keep it more natural with much more character. For me, I can't complain at all. Like, to me, it looks very perfect. If I zoom again, you will see that the skin remains exactly the same. It's just about lighting up and darken some areas, and that's perfect. Really, I can't complain at all. It's really perfect. Once again, soft layer, apply, soft light. Oops, I wrote heal instead of dodge and burn. Sorry. And here, if you think that it's still a little bit too plastic, the easy things to do is just to create a group with those two last layers, face, volume, and then you can just play with the opacity to make it more natural as much as you want. So if I lower it a little bit, you can see some of the changes. So most of the time it just goes down to like 70%. And when you see the difference, that's perfect. It's just like a small edit, but it makes it completely different in terms of professional looking. So you will tell me now, it looks already perfect, but you were talking about another plugin. You might have noticed it. I have another one over here, which is called Color Match. And this is where you will get in the world of unlimited preset. Let me show you why. So this will try to take as a reference a picture, whatever you want. You can choose anything which is JPEG, and it will create a preset based on the colors and the contrast of this picture. Let me show you. So I have this picture. Let's go to some of the film photography that I took recently, South Korea. Let's take a film photography. Let's try to get something that would match the atmosphere of the picture. So, oh, actually I took a picture. Oh, this one may be good. It's like the cherry blossoms with some brown colors. Open, and that's magic. Here you can see it totally transformed the picture, but yes, you're right, it doesn't look very good. It's like totally artificial. So what you will do is just reduce the color, and here's where the magic will start to appear. You can use different blending methods, so you can use the luminance, you can have the color how you want. So this is like the natural one. If you want to blend the color into something which has more unified color, this is what you would use, and a smoothing to make it more natural in between together. And then you can see the difference, which is already a big move. So if you want an easy way to manage the color of your picture, that's the best thing. And then when you are in your folder of your photos, so change the picture and another one will be applied. So this one with much more vibrant colors because of the saturated color that I have on my pictures over here. Once again, you can change the luminance, something a little bit darker with more color of the edit. That looks pretty sweet actually. The shadows are a little bit too red. Sometimes it's a little bit, oh, that's pretty cool like this. As you can see, it's just like you get unlimited preset based on your picture, and it always looks pretty good. You can just mix it the way you want. So when this is done, you can also use some blending to have it more or less powerful, and you have your color match done. And if you see the before and after of everything, to me that's crazy. You don't have to do any manual tasks. This is really crazy. This is why I accepted their offer. And the best thing about it is that it's directly into Photoshop, so you will not have to change the whole workflow. Just for fun, let's do it very quickly with this one. Once again, I did the colors and the lighting, etc. You can see that on the skin, there is still some work to do to get something smoother that the clients would like to get. So let's export it to Photoshop. And once we are here, I will do it very quickly just to show you how fast it is. took like 3-4 minutes, 3 minutes maybe, just to do everything, and the picture looks totally different. So I had to remove some of the color match on the lips because it was removing the reddish aspects of the lips. Once again, the color, the skin, everything looks very, very perfect. You don't have to use always the color matching if you think that the natural ones will look perfect, and I totally agree with that. I would probably decrease a little bit of some of the layer, probably the color match, but that's fine. To be honest, it's not a big deal to change. And I think it's more or less done. I have another one. I will not do it today. I might do it another time with some of the other plugins that Retouch For Me has, in the hope that they will give me the access and give me the opportunity to make a new video about their plugins, because I will definitely use it in my workflow every time for every portrait, just because it makes me save so much time. And once again, I want to repeat myself, but the most important is to be focused on taking pictures. This is how we get experience. So if this can help us to just remove the crappy task that we have on Photoshop, I'm happy with it. So about the discount, you have the link in the description that will give you 20% off. So if you were thinking like it might be a little bit too expensive, it might be the time to buy it. Or you can go to the buying page and use my code MUTIN for the English speakers, 20, and you will get 20% off again. Also, they asked me to tell you one last information. During the period of general sales, there will be an increase of 5% off on top of the 20% that I'm giving you today. Everything will be written in the description, so make sure to check it out. Well, I hope the video hasn't been too long for you. At least you saw more or less everything. Thanks a lot for Retouch For Me to contacting me. It's a very good opportunity for me, and I'll see you next time for another video. Ciao!